Hello everybody and welcome to Tech Tips number... I think it's 31.
About that. No, I think we did 31. No, oh whatever. 31.2 start date. Fubata,
Yes, Fubata. They're out of business.
Yeah, well.
Along with Futaba.
Now they're fluorescent displays. People think they're plasmas. They're not. They're fluorescent.
We did displays already.
Yeah, we did.
We're in trouble with these tech tips, Ray. We've covered every topic I can think of.
Yeah, except getting specific.
So I guess that's what we got to do.
Did we cover drum?
Yes, we did. Yes. Well, coin. Yep. Yes. Yep. I don't think we ever covered coin doors, but what's there to cover there? They're just all a mess.
Yeah. Time-consuming mess. And they're not essential to the play.
No.
So people butcher them, leave them go.
Purely cosmetic,
Sometimes
really.
they're not there. They got holes in them.
Well, they're
really cosmetic.
Well, not purely
Except for
cosmetic. Yeah, if the wiring's goofed up, it'll goof up the game. But
yeah, maybe unplug it and drill a hole in the cabinet. Put the start button somewhere else. We've seen that.
slam switch.
Slam switch, yeah. I like that.
This one came with a TNT slam switch.
Hey, I didn't do it. You didn't do it.
I had nothing to do with it.
No, you didn't.
What came in the mail? What came in the mail today?
Well, I got parts to finish the restoration on the gun game, which we're going to go over to do.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah.
The Phantom gun. I was missing all the stuff, and
yeah. Well, don't say his name because
one of our friends in the hobby sent us the parts.
Yeah, he
and
came.
I don't have to.
Yeah, don't say his name because you're going to show what he sent us.
Yeah. You know, I checked around, and it's hard to find that stuff that's 40 years ago.
Maybe we could do a tech tips on sourcing parts. Oh my
The
God.
Williams Phantom gun was missing all the recoil parts. They were just gone. There was 2 wires hanging there, and that was it. No metal brackets. There was 1 bracket out of like 6 or 8, and no coil. So, you know, I wanted to put that back. And where do you go to get it? Checked eBay. No. Checked around some of the parts vendors, you know, that are in the area. No.
No. Yeah.
Some of the hobby parts guys, you know, and then some of the businesses, and I didn't find it. So I called a friend of mine, and he's in the hobby and does restorations on the side, and he had stuff out of Bonanza, which is the same generation game.
Neat.
Yeah, I must give him a shout out on one of the videos.
Yeah.
But this kind of stuff was what I was really after. My gun game, and you can make this stuff, but it would just take quite a bit of, you know, everything's special for this because it's a big.
Yeah, on a 40-year-old gun game, this stuff just ain't available.
I mean, the coil you might be able to source, but all these little brackets, it would just be kind of time-consuming to make this type of stuff. And this is really going to save me time. I do have to make a plate that the.
Yeah, well, it's not. We're not totally out of the woods yet, but that was a big chunk.
90%.
Big chunk of our trouble.
Yeah, and I really am appreciative of that.
Okay. Well, maybe this is a good tech tips topic, Ray. Let's go ahead and close him out.
Well, this.
Part sourcing.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the majors. We can rattle them off probably extremely quickly. Pinball Resource, Marco, Mad Amusements,
Yeah.
Pinball Life, Bay Area Amusements, Little Shop of Games.
Right. Pinball decals.
Pinball Decals Inc. You know, I'm still trying to figure out exactly who he is. Besides being extremely expensive, sometimes he has stuff that nobody else has.
Yeah, I don't know how. I like ordering a lot of circuit boards that are remade from Rotten Dog and Nywolf and Dave at Alltech from Steve Gregory.
That's
Arcade
Shop.
He's generally a video guy, but sees the need to get into something else more upfront, and that's pinball.
Okay, so circuit boards, Arcade Shop.
Yeah, and he's starting to handle some other avenues too. But yeah, there's a lot of vendors we deal with. Yeah, probably a dozen or more.
Okay, well, I covered the bigs. Who are the ones that nobody knows about? Arcade Shop is kind of on the fringe. I wouldn't normally go there as a source. The obvious ones. Post on Pinside or RGP, eBay. You can find some good parts on eBay. Where else?
Where else?
If you're really digging, where do you go? Pinball Spare Parts Australia.
Oh yeah, the guy that sold the Williams Bally trademark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Planetary is also trying to start to get into the part sales. They have some stuff.
They're starting to make parts.
Reman stuff.
Yeah.
Don't know how established they are at this point, but it's good to see another source.
Sort of a division of Bay Area.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they went into partners to make that thing work.
Who else do you call for parts?
Who else do I call for parts?
Electronics you get through Mauser
Yeah.
or DigiKey.
Yeah, or Allied. Xanon Electronics for video stuff, monitor rebuild kits.
Monitor chassis rebuilds is Chad.
Yeah, Arcade Cup.
Arcade Cup. He's very good.
Yeah, he is.
And you've tried them all.
Yeah. Yeah, we just sampled his work. You put it in and you're done.
Yeah.
Minor adjustments, depends on your tube and his test tube. But minor,
Well, that's generally going away. You can rebuild a monitor, but it's just, you're so diversified that it doesn't make sense for you to do it when there's
I stopped doing that quite a long time
Yeah,
ago.
there's a specialist out there, and he's familiar with all brands, or almost all the brands, and he's set up to do it.
He does more forward work than any of these other little local guys. Just repairing what they find wrong and putting capacitors. There's much more goes wrong with them nowadays because they're old.
Sure.
Years ago, when they weren't old, the rest of the stuff was like the horizontal output transistor and its circuitry and all the other things involved with the picture quality. There's a lot more goes wrong now than just capacitors.
Okay. Well, that's enough about him because
Like this Betson, I buy occasionally from Betson. I have an account there. They recently took their parts off of a local call-in type of situation, and now it's online.
Yeah.
Online.
Hap controls.
Hap controls. I order a lot from Hap. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But then again, that's primarily video game stuff, which is we're not doing much of anymore.
I order a lot from Ed at Great Plains Electronics as far as little components go.
Okay.
And he sells just specific stuff to the hobby. Video and mostly pinball stuff though. Not much video. Mostly all his stuff on there goes in a pinball.
Great Plains Electronics.
Yeah. If you go on Mauser, they sell to everything. Health care related, medical equipment. You got to know what to pick. There's thousands of things.
Yeah.
It's not all game specific to this stuff. Well, Great Plains is just guided to this. In other words, Gottlieb, Williams, Bally, Capcom, anything that was pinball made is on there, and what he sells goes in a pinball, not anything else generally. It's got a universal fit to other electronics, but most of his stuff is geared toward, and he'll have substitute suggestions. In other words, this transistor was used, not available. Use this one. It's sturdier, heavier,
Nice.
more of a rating. So he has little guidelines on there. It's nice
Yeah.
place.
Well, he's specialized, whereas Mauser is just for electronics, the
All
whole,
of it, the whole world,
worldwide.
everything, yeah.
Which, if you break it down to the least common denominator, yeah, it applies. But you have to really know what you're doing to go in there and find what you need.
I get stuff from Granger as well. Stuff that goes in these that I can use, from Granger. AC motors and hobby games, stuff like that. Unique stuff you won't find anywhere else.
Right.
I guess, let's see, GHIJ.
Well, this is a pretty boring topic, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it's easy to source stuff if you dig around. It does take time, though. You got to go on the internet and Google something.
And when you're in business doing it, you better know who to call and what order, or you can kill a whole day looking for a simple part.
Yeah, you can. And stock orders, you generally want to keep stuff in stock. That's a whole different thing.
Well, inventory control is a difficult thing, and it's especially warped in this venue because what's available today might not be available tomorrow.
No, and they do limited runs of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're not available.
I've blown it on that several times where, that plastic set's available. I'm gonna need it 6 months from now, but I'm not ordering it now because why do I want to put the money out now? I don't need it now. And then I go 6 months later to order it and they're gone.
Yeah, and they won't retool unless they get enough back. requests.
So I guess the tech tip there is if you see something that you need and you don't need it right now, get it now anyway.
You can always sell it later if you change your mind, but at least you have the opportunity to decide, whereas if it's not available.
I've gotten burnt by that way too many times. And I think it does hurt us as far as our efficiency for overhead control, because we have to overorder stuff just to keep going, you know. Again, you on the road 100 miles away, you're not making return trips. The parts you need to be on the truck. So you overstock deliberately for that. Plus, you don't want to be ordering every day. You don't have guys sitting there inventory control. What is that? Just in time. My marketing classes are coming back into mind. You don't have a guy sitting there at a desk doing your parts ordering every day.
Right.
So there, that's parts.
There's not too many new players showing up. It's all the old ones, you know. You have the little hobby parts guys that show up once in a while doing mods, but the mainstay is the main businesses.
Yeah, and we're seeing it's, you know, it was coming back for a while. Now I think it's fading away again.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, that's a good point. I've been on some of these sites like Bay Area and MAD.
Yeah, they're getting lighter.
Out of stock, out of stock. There's a lot of out of stocks on there.
Yeah.
They are getting lighter. They're leaving up what it is in a description, in a picture, and even a price. Out
Yeah.
of stock. A lot of stuff.
I suspect that they are able to track interest in parts and try to get
Views of what is out of stock.
right.
Yeah.
I think, because I know Bay Area used to run a where you could click you would try to order something that was
Back
out of
order.
stock, and you wouldn't pay for it, but you would go on a waiting list of sorts.
Right.
I don't know if they do that anymore, but I know they used to. So there, that's parts. What can we get into that's a little bit interesting for these people here today, Ray?
Phil, pan over there at my
What
list
is-
of...
What is this mess? Are we ever going to get caught up with this?
Dude,
Well, the countdown's leaving. We just
I
shot
tried
that.
to clean it out. I really did.
What is all this
But,
stuff, man?
well, there's a few games to
That
do.
road show, I want to throw it off a roof, man.
That's why I brought it in here. I saved it.
What a piece of shit.
What do you see when you look at that? Hours and
I see stupidity.
wasted.
I see pure stupidity.
I like looking at it.
We're forever trying to dig out of our stupid moves. Yeah, try to restore something that 75% of it ain't there.
I think it was more like 90.
Yeah.
The wood was there, Mike. The wood. That was it. The wood, and the wood was beat up.
Yeah, we need our heads examined. Okay, well,
I brought it here because somebody was picking it and picked the driver board out of it.
I did that.
The cables were gone. Some
I did
cables.
that. I needed that.
I thought, what the hell? I had this complete.
Well, you know, it was a fourth floor game room, a warehouse piece, was it not?
Yes, it was.
Well, I returned it to
You
there.
returned it to the picking status.
I need that.
No, I cleaned it out of the back. It was in our way back, and we're trying to, you know, and the winter set in, and I can work here if we have weather. That's why I brought some of this stuff back here,
Yeah.
because this was getting cleaned out.
Speaking of weather, we're a little bit under it. It's been
Couple days worth of back.
Yeah,
And this cold air, man, this is single digit.
it snowed on us pretty hard.
Well, the 10-degree stuff, 8 degree, that's hard to work anywhere.
Yeah, it's brutal. So we've been kind of dragging a little bit here.
Well, I'm sure anybody would be. I mean, I've only taken a few street calls because it's just too hard to get around, and that's just too hard.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to cut here while we try to come up with a plan of what we can show these people other than what we've done so far, which is not much. And we'll be back. I think maybe if we guzzle some coffee, we might get smarter. You want to explain that phone call you got?
Do I want to explain it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to take off that video, which you did.
I did
off
that.
YouTube.
Why?
Some sort of management rights
No.
that he discovered. I think what really happened, in all fairness to him, is his management probably controls his life that way.
Yeah.
Who he sees, what publicly he does. So he's in his own prison, and I don't I don't fault him. His management is what generated that thing.
Yeah.
That there, yeah.
So the David Akers video has been pulled.
We accommodated him and his management and so forth. I think it was more or less his management telling him, look, there's no video rights that you have without our permission, see, because he's a sports figure.
Big deal.
But anyway, that's why it was pulled off, just to explain
Okay.
to people.
Well,
That's just what happens when you get near somebody that has that kind of
has some
image.
level of celebrity
Sure,
image. Yeah.
it's always complicated, and it's not always their fault, so that's fine. I'm okay either way. I don't. To tell you the truth, Mike, I'm not a sports guy, as you know. I follow some a little, right? But I didn't even know who he was. I even spelled his name wrong. I spelled it Ackers. When I wrote it up, it's not that. I'm sorry, but
Okay, well, everybody
to
got a
me-
chance to see it. I guess it was a little bit interesting, but
Yeah.
frankly, it was a terrible video.
to me, it was a customer that had a urgent request to repair some machines for whatever reason, and I responded to it. And I got there within a day of the request. So that's all I see. I filled a customer need.
Okay,
So
well,
the filming part he actually agreed to. So
sure.
And then of course now after a week or so, his management probably found that on the internet. And disagreed that he even agreed to do that, so he was in trouble as well, I imagine. Knowing how that whole machine works, your management, in other words, I guess when you're in that kind of area, and there are worse areas because he's not a major player of that game, a quarterback or a
No.
linebacker or the actual defense.
He's relatively irrelevant.
He's special teams, but what I'm getting at besides all that is the higher up you are in a video or filming industry, the more you don't have control of your appearance or image. You're told what to do.
Yeah.
You're told you go there, you do this, you appear here. Privately, you have no business doing anything yourself. So I was relatively amazed that he agreed to have any of that done.
Yeah.
Really. And
Well,
I'm not surprised to find out that this happened later when his management found that. And from our standpoint, to be truthful, that doesn't really do,
doesn't affect us at all.
no, that doesn't help or hinder us in our effort to do what we do.
No.
Because it's a totally different channel.
Not in the slightest.
So this here,
Well, we put it up because we thought it would be interesting.
true. And anytime we get into an interesting game room, we feature it with the permission of the people that are involved, that own. And we've done several.
Yes.
And we'll do several more.
We are going
because
to.
This takes people into an area of their interest in machines and a hobby that nobody else could see.
Right.
It's like reality shows, like there's a lot of reality shows going on, and I imagine there's setbacks for their filming. And
Somebody said we were more entertaining than Duck Dynasty.
I never watched it.
I don't know what Duck Dynasty is
I
either.
don't either. It's some kind of hunting thing. They hunt ducks or something.
But somebody says we're better
Are they
than that.
hunters or
I don't know.
survival people? No, it's all over the place. In fact, they had some kind of #1 show.
We need some swag, man. We need Wide Area Repair, GRC, hats and t-shirts and mugs and stuff.
I know the dudes are bearded. They look grody. You see them on the advertisements.
I look
because I
grody.
do watch that channel
Yeah.
for other shows, but I've never watched their show. But they have little advertisements on it,
Oh.
and then, it's all hype. They say they've had 4 or 5 seasons or something.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, whatever it is, it ain't real. It ain't real reality. That's whatever it is. It's
No,
scripted
it's
crap.
manufactured reality.
Yeah.
No, see, this is what's going on with the filming industry. They're trying to grab anything to keep in front of people,
Yeah.
and they're really digging the bottom of people's
Yes, they are.
interest because the reality shows they're coming up with are just totally absurd.
Something about some hillbillies looks really
Oh
bad.
yeah, the hillbilly
Oh
thing.
my
the
lad,
lady.
that looks friggin' awful.
What hillbilly? What is it called?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, it looks bad.
Oh my. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Anyway, that explains
yeah.
that, and that just occurred recently here, and with all fairness to David, it's really not probably his fault. It's his management found out that he did something without their consent. That's the way I got it when I got the private phone call, and I told him.
Yeah. Well, he'll be all right. We still thank him for the effort.
Yeah, we do, and I'm glad that he got his games fixed as what he wanted done. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know on what level of importance that is to somebody like
Shouldn't be much.
him, but at least he got a service I provided, and everybody was happy with that.
Duck
fine.
Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty.
Ray, do I have your permission to post this video
Yeah.
of you talking
Yeah.
to people? Do I need to check with your management?
I have no management. It happens, you know. How many years has it been playing? You know, he's controlled.
Yeah.
He's controlled. He's told.
You know, I was a little bit surprised to get Mark on film.
You get what?
To get Mark on film.
Mark.
Not that he's famous or
Oh,
anything,
Mark, no.
but he is a little bit shy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you wouldn't take him for that, because all the times I've known him, he seems out on it.
If I can get him to loosen up a little bit, we can get him to do his TNT story.
Yeah.
Because that's a good one. A really good one.
It actually probably happened. I wouldn't doubt
Oh
it.
yeah, he didn't make that up. That was really
Well, they run
rare.
in each other's shows, I suppose, and Mark's got a certain temperament for somebody like them.
Yeah,
over
as do
there.
we.
Well, anybody, I guess. Obviously, you found out.
Yeah, we saw that earlier. That's great. In a way, you showed me an interesting tool earlier that I'd never seen or heard of. I need to see that.
Okay.
Because I want to know what percentage of our viewers have seen such a tool or even knew such a tool existed.
Bought this Cumberland Electronics. Any electronics place buys sells things, they will sell this. But I bought this to do repetitive twisty work, tie wrap.
Twisty tie wrap tool.
Well, cable ties. You know, you have different sizes.
Okay.
Miniature ones. Your standard size is this: the width, the thickness, and the length.
Okay.
What this does is it's adjustable, and you can make it pull tension harder. This is for bundling cables, but this is for a serious. This is almost like an electronics technician toy if you're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I would never have any use for that, but when I heard it snap over there, I turned my head and said, "What the hell are you doing now, Ray?"
I like tools, man. I'm not. I don't qualify for doing this much repetitive work, but I saw this and I said I gotta have it. But you can set the tension, and then this lever flips for miniature, intermediate, and standard.
Okay.
This will tension. It sets this tension bar,
Okay.
which actually has a painted line on it somewhere.
So you set it for the size of
This is
the
right
wire
there.
tie and how tight you want it to be.
Yeah, and you feed your wire tie, and then this will actually put it on.
And it cuts it off nice and
And the
doesn't.
tension you set is how tight it'll pull.
And it cuts
and
it off.
another thing, when you cut one of these with side
Sights or whatever,
cutters,
yeah.
you can leave a sharp edge on this that will tear you up. This doesn't do that. This puts a nice clean cut. I bought this for the automotive work I was doing because I was doing a lot of it. And that's why I bought it, and that's what it is. It is it's a tool to do repetitive twisty work.
Nice.
Cable tie.
Neat. Never saw one of those before, but I can understand
Well,
why it exists.
When you cut, your best effort is going to do that.
Yeah, it
Now, you
leaves-
feel that's
Yep,
sharp.
Yep, you just left a knife on there.
Yeah, plus this thing gets it a lot tighter.
Yeah.
And it already tensions it.
And or the correct tightness for whatever you want
If
to
you're in a tight
do.
area in a car, this is handy because you can go in, tighten it, come out, and it automatically cuts it off.
Done.
You're done. You don't need all the clutter of different tools.
Okay, well that has nothing to do with pinball, but I thought it was neat.
It is neat. You will not see it too much. It's a pretty much intermediate tool.
Okay.
But I get all kinds of stuff like that.
All right.
Unnecessary gizmo tools.
That's unnecessary
I got boxes
shit.
of it.
What is this? You got a big press in here?
Yeah, this is a 20-ton press. And it's adjustable. I made my own plates. I have dies for pressing wheel bearings in cars. And
Yeah.
I used to do, before the advent of replacing half shafts, I used to press my own CV joints in.
Yeah. You don't do that anymore.
And then, you know, I made up tools for pressing bearings and stuff out of rear end assemblies in cars. Like,
We could make a regular torture chamber in here with some of the shit you got.
it's nothing special. It's just a 20-ton press. These are actually what you need to make your individual thing work. Whatever you're pressing, you know, this is
Yeah, I see what it
it's
is.
1-inch steel plate.
Yeah.
This weighs more than my case.
Yeah. Well, don't hurt yourself.
And, you know, you make dies and tools. You're not going to bend that.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting. I'm on break.
You want that. You're looking at it.
What do you know? I want to sell those. Is what I want to do, Ray.
So,
You know, you won't let me sell them, and I know what they're worth relatively. Those are Gottlieb. They're Gottliebs, are they not?
yeah, they are.
Gottlieb
Those
strength
40.
testers from the 40s.
Right.
Um,
Penny arcade stuff.
and they're between the two of them. You're relatively complete.
I got 3.
Okay, so you have enough to make 2, maybe.
Yeah, this one here, I started restoring, and I even ordered a case of crinkle finish paint.
Okay.
Texture, well, it's not textured, it's crinkle. From the hardware store, and then it's,
Oh, and Felix made decals for it, if I remember correctly.
yes, he did.
Oh, there you are. Test-shirt rip today.
He made them all.
Okay, well, coming soon at a GRC store near you, old Gottlieb's strength testers.
Yep.
I'm really excited about that, Ray. Coming soon to a GRC store near you, some Mega Touches. You got an Aurora, what is it, a 19 and a 17?
Right.
I guess one of these you said only has like 17 clicks on it or something? 14 clicks. But it's got a little bit of
Shame they
storage.
broke that.
It's got a little bit of storage damage.
But if you really look at it,
Yeah.
it's got 14 clicks on the meter.
It's
and
new.
Everything is new.
It's new in there. Just needs dusted off.
Right.
Ain't worth much.
No.
You know, this damaged part here, Ray, is going to cost you more to fix that than the thing's worth.
That's our profit.
We just lost our profit on that. Shit. You got to shoot the moon there. That was down at the old shop. I caught you ordering the shoot the moon pinball.
I did. I ordered it.
I caught you doing that
I got it.
because apparently it does not. I kept trying to do it with a pinball, and I was wondering why I suck so bad at it.
Yeah,
Because it does not take a pinball. It takes a
I
something.
got this a Christmas present when I was a kid, and if you look at it, that's not the number. That's the year. It was made in 1959.
Oh, get out! Really?
Yeah, I got this when I was like.
You sure?
Yes, I am sure. I went on the internet and searched the artwork and what this is. It was made in '59. They made these for several years, but this game or what this little wooden thing was, yeah, it was made in '59.
Do you have any idea how close I was to
Throwing it out?
throwing that the fuck out?
No, you could have.
I was. Well, see, it's broken.
Yeah, I got to glue that.
Yeah, that's hardly qualifies as broken, but
If I clamp and glue that, you won't see it. And then there's the ball, and I'll clean it up. And I don't know, I need my head examined.
let me catch you working on
Can I
that.
have my head examined? I can't afford it. Oh, wait.
Would anybody like to buy a jukebox? Because we have about 30 of these fucking things.
I don't want one. I got one, and it's not together yet. We have parts. Look.
Yeah, there's
Anybody? We're in the market now to sell parts.
Over
we
there-
had questions about selling parts.
over there is a stack of the
CD players.
yeah
They're
with
the changers, and then the white boxes are brand new Pro players.
oh my really.
Yes.
Well,
Kurt
we,
gave me this.
well, we need to get to listing that shit. Ray, there's Mega on the floor.
Mega, yeah. It's face down. It's face down. That's the one that goes to the wall mount unit. This is the back to that one I didn't put on yet, but that's the wall mount unit,
Oh, I can hardly wait to see it.
and that's a 15-inch ion, I guess. Looks like it's silver.
Here's the Roadshow. It just keeps getting moved around and
Yeah.
damaged and moving. Or damaged.
No, I ran into it.
Yeah,
here
I
at
caught
the
you
store.
about a day later, too.
Yeah, I ran into that,
I called you and I said, Ray, what the fuck?
and I said I ran into it.
I don't care. It's the other Frankenstein.
It was a.
Hey, while you're at
I
it,
think I did run into it with Frankenstein.
maybe you did. Well, while you're at it, Ray, people have asked to see your game room. So if you don't, if I have your permission to post on television,
You already filmed my game.
your game room. No, I don't, we've never been in there.
Really?
Yeah, we've never been in there. Take us on a walk through your game room, and we'll call this a night. I don't know what kind of tech tips this was. I don't think we talked about too much. We got Ray over there. What are you playing, man? You still playing the World of whatever?
Yeah.
Are you winning?
Yes, I'm winning, man.
Nice.
Killing it.
It's Jimmy's Indy.
Okay.
This is our Sega.
Has anybody... You know, I can hardly get over how nice this Indy is. It really is that nice. Felix sprayed the orange back into it. I think I have a couple pictures of that somewhere.
Before.
Of him either painting the head. Either if I don't have them, I bet Jimmy has them. Where he airbrushed this back together. Really not sure what this pin is doing here.
Not either. It was on the truck coming back from
But this was a lucky find on his part.
from Felix's, and that's when Jimmy said you can leave it here.
This was just a nice, clean pin.
It's so I have a pin, Mike. I don't have a pin. I feel some sort
Just
of.
underneath it was nice. It was just nice and clean. Although I'm actually seeing something now that I'm looking at it again.
Okay.
It's
Slit. Yeah.
There's a split. That
Yeah.
playfield is split up the middle.
Somebody get pissed at it?
Really, I mean, it's really minor. Because I've looked at this thing 18 times and that's the first time I've seen it. But wow, is that nice. Now this thing, on the other hand, wow, is that a piece of shit.
No, Larry, come on.
That's your high-end restored Frankenstein with a broken head.
Yeah.
It's got $8,000 of new parts in it and it's worth $500.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I got that. It's got no parts in it. I started.
You store your dope in there.
No, I cleaned this up, put this here. These are ready to go in it.
Okay,
I'm
so you're working on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in there because that's done.
Okay,
I got this for the page thing because it didn't have one.
okay.
And other than that, the rest is cleaned up.
All right, you might as well have one of those.
I
Okay,
got my wall mega.
that's a neat mega.
It's a Force 2011.
You had to dig a hole in the wall to put it in there like that, but that's what you end up with. It just kind of sits up in there. That's a nice unit. I like that.
You have to. Not many people are going to want to do this to the wall, but you won't see this anywhere. This was an airport.
Right, right. Yeah, you had to cut a hole in the wall to
Right.
get it in
It
there.
sits back in quite a ways, and that's where your on and off switch is, and
Neat.
the game board and such.
But once installed, it looks nice. Why do you have the DBA out of it?
I don't know.
Because you felt like it.
Yeah, it never was in it.
But you weren't a sports fan. There's a Phillies thing.
Yeah, I am. Looking at it, I got my dice.
You got Phillies dice. There you got a couple of what are those things?
Well, it's about like 5500 slot, and this is an IGT Suit S Plus.
Okay.
And I have them on slot stands. which
Yeah,
is
nice
your-
little lit up stands. They're nice. Your buddy built those stands, didn't he?
Local guy, yes, he builds those. He's in Wayne.
Okay. What else?
Got the popcorn machine I never used. I just brought it in here. It was in
Yeah,
our-
you ought to use that. We
They make great popcorn.
they
taste great.
they do. We have one of those over at the shop. It's not the same
it's a different
It's
artwork.
not the same model artwork wise.
Same model inside.
It is a what brand is it? It's a Benchmark,
Benchmark.
of which we are a Benchmark distributor,
Right.
and we've sold a whole bunch of these popcorn machines. I got to tell you.
This is the hood for the.
Yeah, that's
game
not
out
part
there.
of the
It's all
game room,
cleaned
yeah.
up. I got my little minis. I
There's-
got the mini Gallagher restored with the LED.
Yeah, that's probably headed to the shop at some point.
Yeah, centipede here.
That's Gene's Centipede.
Yep,
Okay, is that the whole game room?
that's it. That's my.
What do you got? Some audio equipment over there?
That's my home stereo.
Will anybody appreciate your audio equipment?
I don't know if they remember. It's from 1978.
They had audio back then?
Yep. And it's actually older than that. That's when I bought it. It's actually from 75 or 4.
Okay, well, people might be interested in that. What is it?
It's Macintosh stuff. It's C28 preamp, an MR78 tuner, and a 2025 main amp.
That's pretty.
480 a channel.
It's pretty. 480 a channel.
Yeah, that's down here because it weighs a lot. This weighs 100 pounds.
Wow. Did you have to recon any of that stuff?
Yeah, over the years things go bad.
Yeah.
I had to have this fixed. There's a Mac dealer in Lancaster still, and then of course these are 6-way XR6 speakers. I had to have them reconed. They were
Beat. Tired. Old.
they rot.
Yeah. Nice. ELO. Never heard of it. Ray, there's speakers in your ceiling.
Yeah, that's actually a HAP device. HAP Control sells that. And there's 4 8-inch. I guess they're full range speakers.
And that hooks up to your jukebox over
That'll
there.
hook to that, and then I'm going to use a Polk 10 sub for.
Okay.
back end.
We'll get that done, would you?
Yeah, I should one of these days. It'd be nice.
Yeah, take a day off and do that.
Yeah.
You got your TV.
Yeah, that's my work off TV.
You got your happy face and unhappy face.
I hung
Those
that
used to
there.
live down at the old shop.
Yeah.
You made
them
them.
in high school. We had a foundry part of metal shop, and
Yeah.
we molded.
Oh, those were moldings, huh?
You can bet they don't do that anymore.
Probably not.
And I made the black plaques with the satin. But yeah.
Well, wasn't that a sign of things to go? Okay, well
Metal shop.
we're down to 0 minutes, Ray. That was a whole tech tips. You believe that?
You liked it?
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think?
It's really not a game, but
Well, but it's in your game room. People wanted to see your game room.
well, I don't have one.
So you're out of time, Ray. Don't run away from me. Tell the people something.
All right. Well, we'll visit another game room that's going to be more interesting next time. See you later.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Hi, we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Want to know what's coming next? Go like us on Facebook right now. You can keep up to date with all of us here at the shop and what we've been up to. Thank you for watching.